Hey friends, Jessica here with Creators Couture, and in this tutorial we are going to make this kind of French bistro inspired poster, and it's really very faster and much easier than it looks, so we'll get into it. And I am actually recording this because I am having problems live streaming, and it's a bit weird it's weird doing a tutorial not live anymore. I'm like, what is this? But anyway, here we go. So it's going to be really fun and easy. Of course, the multicolor brushes are making it very easy for us. What I'm going to be using like the multicolor brush technique on a lot of it, but then also accented with my brushwork brushes, and they add a lot of really gorgeous texture in here. And like you see on the borders, you see here, so I am using some one color brushes up in here, so changing it up just a bit. And I think they work really well together, and there's just a lot of really nice textures from those brushes, which I really appreciate. So the brushes that I'm using some from the Modern Impressionist collection, the Artistic Autumn, and then also the brushwork. And that's where we're getting a lot of those really gorgeous textures. And they were very much inspired by like fashion illustrations, how you see a lot of that really rough textural brush strokes in there. And I really enjoy getting that kind of texture. So to start off with, what I did was I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like illustrate a couple simple things and then maybe we'll put it into a composition later. So I didn't really have this composition in mind whenever I was starting. I was just like, okay, let's illustrate a baguette. Let's illustrate a glass of wine. And so that's what I started. So the first thing that I went to do is go look for some image references. And I do have to say, Adobe Stock is really good for finding good image references. You know, like Unsplash is good for those like lifestyle images and everything, but I really think Adobe Stock, I find what I'm looking for fastest. So I found some reference images and then one for the wine. And then I knew like I kind of wanted to have a brown papery kind of background. So that was fine. So, oops, well, these are going out of control here. So I've got that. And then what I did was I went and I just made screenshots because of course most of you guys know with my multicolor brush technique, um, so basically I sample the colors directly from the images. And so I went ahead and I will show you here the palettes that I sampled because this just makes it so easier. So I looked on the internet for the bread and I just made little screenshots and turned them into my patterns. And if you're not familiar with my pattern stamp multicolor brush technique, the what do you call it? The foundation tutorial is down below, but you can go check that out. But most of the people that follow are already familiar, so I went ahead and made my palettes and then also made some palettes from wine and then also from the paper. And if you are a Behance subscriber, which is only $10 a month, you can cancel anytime. You can get all of the tutorial resource files, the PSD, the colors, and I'm going to try to save most of the brushes as well for you guys, like preloaded. And did I save some? I saved some of them already. Oh my gosh, but when I was working on it, I did not save all the brushes. So, and also you can already go, I actually posted the time lapse of my process on, because when I was working it out, I actually like recorded it. But I'm like, oh, I kind of need to burp. Okay, so let's get into it. So first off, I'm going to start with the baguette. So basically, I just sketched this out here, and yeah, sketched it out, and I kind of wanted to make like, okay, I want this to be stylized. So one thing that I noticed was this kind of like repeating leaf sort of pattern, or this little, you know, the shapes that form classically in this kind of like a traditional baguette, and it's where the bread splits open. So I kind of drew that out, and yeah, so I was like, okay, well, you know, use that, kind of keep that in mind. And what I will do here is I have like one that I've already made and then I'll make another one next to it. So let's get into it and let's see here. So what I'm going to do is follow the like little, luckily I did annotate my PSD with what brushes that I used. So first off, I'm just going to knock out the shape. And so I'm knocking it out in brushwork brush number 6. So this one is a good one. Let me just get my regular brush tool here. And brush, 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 brush work. Here we are. All right, brush number 6. Yes, dry 6. And it doesn't really matter because I'm going to color over it. So I'll just pick a color out here, and I am going to draw on the same layer as my other one. And so I want it to be kind of uneven, little things sticking out. You don't want anything too perfect. So just kind of having some fun with that. This is just to, of course, there's nice texture in this brush. Like if you use a light pressure, you get a gorgeous texture. But all of these brushes, like when you do a full texture, or full pressure, you're gonna get just like quite filled in. So that's good. All right, so there we've got our baguette shape. Next, it looks like I used, I'm gonna save my brushes as I go so you guys could have fun with this and don't have to look everything up. If you remember, brushwork 6. And I just save them here in the tool presets, and I can later load them in as a brush, but this is just really easier for me to save rather than going here, clicking over on the side, adding at the bottom. It's just a mess. So I always save them on the go on the tool presets panel. And then I got Modern Impressionist 27, but this time we're using the multicolor technique. So let's get the pattern stamp tool. And then let's here, let me close my embroidery brushes because I had those open. And I'm going to open up the Artistic Autumn, so they're open, Modern Impressionist, and Brushwork, but I'll go for Modern Impressionist, brush number 27. Okay, so yeah, that was brush 27, and I just grabbed like a color palette here. So as you can see, these color palettes are sampled from Bread, and then I can just add more as I like, but so I'll just get, a good base color here. And this is just nice. There's just a little color, color change or whatever. Even you can kind of like change it up and grab some different ones. But I think the having a nice brown, oh my gosh, base is good. So that's good. So we got Modern Impressionist brush 27. And then we've got Artistic Autumn. Let's see here, where did I use it? Over here. Artistic Autumn brush number 15. And of course you can just like play around with it. You don't have to use this formula that I did. This is just what I kind of came up with. Oh, let me save my brush. Yes, okay. Artistic Autumn 15. Oh, and by the way, I'm using a clipping mask group layer, so that way everything just stays on there and it just makes it easy peasy. So this one is, I should really have something like a layer outside here. Maybe, is this one? Yeah, so this is Artistic Autumn 15, which is just a nice rough, nice lovely rough thing. What did I do? Edit, redo, layer visibility, okay. So let's go here, and I think I'll probably just, let's grab one of the other ones. I really don't know exactly how oh, that's looking nice. Did something kind of like this, yeah. Just popping in some highlights, kind of just adding some dimension. And you can add like whatever color palette you want or kind of switch it up. So just, it's adding a little bit of texture, but we're just going to go with it like there. So, we'll see how it is. And I could actually, what I could do is kind of, if I wanted to, just kind of pull back these layers as I go. So you could see like the nice one, because sometimes the ones that I do, I always say this, it's like the wish version of what you ordered. So what did I have here? Oh, this is just some accent. Okay, so we can kind of see how we did there. So there's the background. There's our first layer. Added a little bit more texture there. There's the second layer, pretty similar, kind of adding some roughness, but it's nice. And these are all Bread colors, so you can't go wrong, so it's cool. Then we will go back to that brush number 6, and I really wanted to knock out, this is kind of going to be a bit of a, oh gosh, a kind of a layer mask as well. So I'm going to go to my one color brush, and it should already be here in 6, but I'm going to take this light color and knock out those nice light shapes, and I'm going to use that on the next layer as a bit of a mask. So I'm just going to, and I don't want it to be too filled in around the outsides, but kind of just mainly yeah, something like that. So we're gonna pop that down on, kind of follow that pattern like we did on the other one here. That's nice because we'll have like two different breads. So it's lovely, not that hard. Not so hard. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, then let's see what I added. Okay, so then I basically kind of covered over them. And so then I'm gonna go on this next layer. And what I wanna do is I wanna add this, like, this is gonna be a clipping mask, but it's complicated to do a clipping mask within a clipping mask. So what I'm gonna do is go onto this layer here, select all of it. And this is what I did before. And then let's delete this layer mask. The one I already have on, because I'm doing two baguettes, so I have to redo that thing. Let's delete. And then now we're gonna just click here. And so now everything's gonna be clipped to those, just this layer is gonna be clipped to that layer. So then this one, excuse me, was Modern Impressionist 90. So let's look at that. So I just had so much fun whenever I was doing this, like just kind of playing with, not Artistic Autumn, just playing with the brushes, experimenting. And so, you know, like I said, you can just have fun, what do you call it? Just like playing around with the different brushes. But by sampling really like directly from the images of the bread, it kind of gives us a great guide that we know we're not going to get too far off. And okay, so this is a really nice, kind of a rough textury brush. And so I'm going to grab like one of these lighter color palettes and kind of, maybe I will do this one. So I don't love that one. That doesn't look so nice. Maybe I'll go a little darker. So I'm kind of just kind of covering this up a little bit like I did on the other side. And yeah, I don't know if I love that as much. Maybe I feel like I'm not getting the right color palette. Maybe I'll do this one. So what I could do is, I don't want to just cut the one on the other side. Let's cut this and let's try that again. No, undo. Anyway, the main thing was just to kind of give it this like roughness and this texture here. But that one's not so bad. I can just, and then that other layer is serving as a bit of a clipping mask layer for us. So let's just layer some, that brown. This is looking interesting here. We have to trust the process. Sometimes it looks a little black in the middle, but you know, we'll kind of eke it out anyway. All right, so then what do we got here? So then I wanted some kind of a rough texture, and this was via Artistic Autumn brush number 33, which is really nice. Am I not saving my brushes? I gotta save this. Okay, 90. All right. Yeah, 90. Okay, I saved it. Oof. Because it's really useful. That's one of the things that I love doing for the subscribers, is that I'll save the brushes already loaded up so that you can just like go through and just do it really fast and have fun. Okay, so let's find Artistic Autumn brush 33. This is a great texture. There's a lot of really good textures in this Artistic Autumn 33. Okay. So see that bright, like that's really nice. It's like we could zoom into. Just a really nice texture. So you could, and it kind of has a leaf texture in there, but you don't have to necessarily use it for that kind of application. Okay, so let's go on her layer here. Let's get it. Looks like I got kind of this brown anyway. So I just added some little bit of texture around. Just kind of wanted to continue to add texture layers, and hope something kind of sticks anyway. It's fine. Okay, AA33, we are saving her. And then we got, what is this? Brushwork Dry 15. So that added, this adds a lot of structure to our baguette. Baguette, yes, baguette. All right, so let's go up and we're going to go back to the one color brush and we are going to go to, I think this one's going to be a little bit of a long one comparatively, but it's good. I was thinking to break it up into two parts on my live stream because it's a bit longer than a typical one, but I think it will be nice. Oh, this brush has loads of yummy texture. Let me just show you here. If I get a nice, I love the texture in that brush. Look at that fade. It's yummy, so nice, so gorge. Just toot my own horn over here. So I took a dark color and I played with this a bit, trying to get like exactly the right dark color. But you can see that on my time lapse because you see all of my fiddling around and stuff because I don't think of these things like straight away. I have to mess around a bit, you know, so. But then I like doing that, and then I can kind of give you the playbook. So what I did here to, I mean, I'm not really big on like realism or perspective. I'm like, I never bother with any of that like so much. It's mainly like I don't like doing things with like perspective and everything because it's, or like a lot of realism. I like really stylized things. One, because it's like, okay, if you want something super realistic, take a photo, but also I just don't want to like work that hard. So I like doing things that are like more artsy and just fun. So anyway, that thus like a lot of my style is born of just being lazy. Like I can't be bothered. I have to like, I'm gonna push myself a little bit more sometimes, but like doing some more realistic things. But yeah, plus I just think it's more fun. You know, I don't know. It's more like artistic expression. Okay, so I kind of kept all the like dark on one side of that little, on these little leafy shapes. Okay, so that's fine. And then what did I do? Layer one. Oh, and then this is like the last accent that I made. I liked these. It was just a little touch, but I made it look really nice. So this is brush 24. Oh, let me save my brush. Yes, what brush is this? 15. Okay. It's so funny because sometimes when you're saving a tool preset, sometimes it saves right, and then sometimes it, like, it'll show what brush, you know, you named it, and then some it just says like random tip. So I'm gonna grab a light color, and this is, now I'm gonna go to Brushwork Dry 24. Yes, so, oh yeah, gorgeous little texture. Let's see what we added here. We just added some nice little, I added some things kind of mainly around the light centers. So let's zoom in there. We're just getting a lot of love. I guess I could turn off the guides. They're quite ugly, aren't they? Sketch. Okay, there we go. It's looking a bit better. So this is brush 24. Ah, okay, we don't need to be that close. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so I was just adding like a, okay, now it's my pressure stem. There we go. Kind of just adding a little bit of pretty, those, that makes it look really quite nice. I like that. Just adding a little bit of extra. And even I could take the brush size down. If you know it's coming too thick or something, then just, you know, but you don't want to see the texture, just take the brush size down and then you can push on it harder and you'll have that like harder, thinner line. So I could just take my brush size down a bit. But I like seeing those, some of these, okay, not that, like, there we go. Just being like really stylized. It's fun for, yeah. Kind of also looks like the white flower that goes on top of it. So, ooh, I like how that turned out. And then okay, let me save that. This is 24. Doesn't save it. 24 Baguette. Okay. And the last thing that I did is I didn't like some of these edges being really like rough there. So what I did was I just accented them with brush 22 on top just to get rid of some of that roughness because it almost looks like a clipping, like I think it looks better this way. So I just went over some of those edges. So what I did was I went to brush 22, which is just I just wanted kind of a smoother edge. And then I went around to some of these edges And it would be weird if you just use one color like all the way around. So what I did was wherever I'm going, I sampled, and then I just kind of like drew some lines around the edges like this that kind of blended in a bit. And I liked how it turned out. So not in all places, because it's like I still want it to be stylized, but I kind of just, yeah, did like this. Had something sticking out, like you can see here, it's just like, just added, okay, that color doesn't really match there. Kind of just added some bits like this. So, because some of those, like the edges there, I just didn't love. It was a bit more texture than I wanted. And so that's it. So basically that is the baguette, and they don't look so bad. So let me go ahead and hit save. And then what I did for the poster was I just dropped those on there. So you can see they look a little like, we'll add a little bit of stuff later, but let's go ahead and get into the wine glass really quick. So that's baguettes done. Okay, and then of course I will, usually if I make like a layer group, what I'll do is I will, like this is my whole baguette. I will just duplicate, I'll save the original layer group because you never know, you might want to like mess around. I would like to work non-destructively, so I'll duplicate that and then I will turn that into a smart object and drag it into the other thing anyway. So let's hit save. Although you want to make sure that your layer groups are all together anyway. But let's close that out because we are done with her. We don't need this one either. Don't save. So let's do the wine, easy peasy real fast. This is our reference image, and literally to make the guides, I just, oh, did I say my last brush? Let's see here, 22, okay. I remembered, yay, good for me. And good for subscribers. All right, so for this one, the red is a little bit distracting, so I put the guides behind, but that ended up being really quite interesting, and I saved that and used the guides actually in part of my design, and I kind of liked how that turned out. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a long tutorial, but I'm gonna make it. It's all good. You might have to pause and come back. No, it's okay. So, okay, the wine glass, so I've got the red. So basically all I did was like make a black outline. I made a couple of little gray kind of strokes for shadows and a one for white highlight, and that was pretty it. And then the multicolor loose watercolor brush for the wine. So let's go here. Oh my god, why am I so tired? Okay, let's find the black layer here. Where did we do her? Mm-mm-mm. Guides, yes. Wine. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is brush 6 again. So let's just grab brush. I'm sure I saved it up here. Brushwork 6. Okay, we're going to make it a little smaller, and then let's just zoom in here. And I wasn't going to go over everything, but yeah, this will just be an extra long tutorial. So I'm going to select this. Why is this not selecting black here? Oh, what's here? Kind of a black. All right. So we're going to take this brush size way down though. So I want to use light pressure. I want some of the texture to come out through there. That's nice. But yeah, I also kind of want to be able to like push it hard. So we're going to take our 10, 15. Yeah, we're taking our weight. Oh, no. Not me going on the wrong. No, not the wrong, but why deselect? Do I have slow? I was like, what? Okay. All right. Okay. No, not me. Okay. Maybe 20. So I just did the same thing, kind of followed this. Oh, and you can take the brush smoothing up a bit if you don't have a smooth hand. Ooh, but if you take it up too much, it doesn't feel good. Okay. Do something like this. And then the thing is like, my style is definitely like imperfect, so it works out fine if it's not like super perfect and smooth, because that's kind of what I go for. Like I said, sometimes it's just because that's what I want to do and I don't want to take a lot of time to um, do things. So I'm like, no, it's all what I intended. I want it to be imperfect. So I'm just following my guides. And the wine glass is really nice because it's very, very little work, because obviously it's meant to be see-through. So that's why I put it on the back of this. Like I knew that I wanted kind of a tan background. So I was like, okay, well then when I'm drawing this, or if you can call that drawing, that's nice. I like some of the little accidents where it looks like you can see it's light and then dark on some places. So it feels handmade, because in this, and that's kind of a superpower in this age of like AI. It's like when you see something like this, you see that the strokes are intentional. And I think that's special. Okay, so let's save this as 6 small wine. Okay. And what else do we got here? This is the wine. This is the wine. Okay, here I used brush number 16 to add this like shadow around the sides. Gives a little bit of depth in a minimalistic way. And I'll just sample some dark gray from inside here, if I can. There we go. And then let's see here. Maybe I saved some of my brushes up here. Oh, I saved it. Did I? Oh, good for me. Okay, so this is, I'm like, oh, here, I saved it already. So yeah, I just use a really light pressure, and we got that gorgeous texture in that brush stroke, and it's got a nice gray, and we're just gonna kind of go around the edges, just kind of do a little gray there. I'm not gonna worry that it's so super perfect, but you know, I put a little bit in here, put a little bit down here, just minimalist. Yeah, just kind of, yeah, had a little fun with that. So we'll leave that as it is. We saved that already. Love it. Love that for us. And these highlights are brush 15. Brushwork, dry 15. Did I not save? No. 16, 22 letters, no. Okay, this one I did not save, so let us go in search of brushwork, brush 15. Brushwork, dry 15, very key. And we're gonna get a nice light, almost white. I feel like could be whiter. That looks pretty good. And maybe take the brush size down a little bit. We want to get that nice, let me take the smoothing, nice fade there. But I just like that, really makes it to me. That stroke really does it. And I might want to do a little bit harder, but actually I'll add that there for now. It's fine. Let's save this 15. Oh gosh, 15 reflection. Wait, highlight. Okay. And I'm going to take the size down and kind of just add a little bit in here, like I did, and then maybe go back. Let's see here. Add a little bit here. That's fine. All right, let's hit save. First, I'm going to go drop that wine in there too. Hello. All right, so this one, did I save her? I did. So this is loose watercolor, brush number 7, and I had sampled some wine, so I don't have to figure out what color. And we got all those beautiful color variations here. So all I did was just kind of, I could take the brush size, I just kind of dropped it in, played around, You can, if it gets outside of the bounds, you can erase a little bit or something, but I kind of just had fun looking those colors kind of come in. Yeah, that looks nice. You could take like a darker one. I could play around, add a little bit of, that one comes out quite purple actually, but maybe I'll add a little. Let's get this one. Let's undo that. That wine, it's funny because I sampled it from a photo, but it come out as like very purple. So, but I like, this one was, I kind of like it because it's got bigger spots, but anyway. Do something like that. And if you don't like it, just go back, go over it, what have you. We're going to just call that good enough. And then I added a little highlight, and what I ended up doing, because I didn't want to change the color, but I want it lighter, so I made a new layer above it, and I think I took pretty the same brush, but the screen mode is set to 100%. So I just added a little highlight in here, and that was just kind of nice to add a little bit of a highlight to get like a little luminosity. But again, it kind of turned out nicer here, but whatever, we're going with it. And that's that. Oh, and then here I added just a little, like with the brush 6, but I added in like the white, just a little highlight on the wine. Is that brush 6? No, it's layer 6. No, I added the same. You know what I used? I used like the 15 highlight. But I'm going to take that brush size down a little bit. Just added a little texture here. Kind of wanted to, there we go. See what you did there? It looks a little bit nicer. I don't know why. Maybe because the wine's darker, but just added a little bit of a thing there. And I could go to where the layer of the wine is, and I could just grab my eraser, even if I want to take some of this. Some of that wine was a little messy around the edges. And in the end, I actually saved the guides as their own thing, because I liked having a little offset of the wine, and just, I don't even think I moved it. Okay, let me hit save. So what I did was when I dropped them on that poster, I saved them, but I saved them as like with a white overlay, and I just liked how it gave it a different look. So on the poster, you've got the wine glasses, and then I saved the guides underneath it, but I put a light gray white color overlay on it. And I just, like, if you look here, I just think it adds a little something, adds a little highlight basically, and I just think it looks quite cool. So here's without it, and there's with it. So I think that adds to the glassy effect. Okay, so I'm gonna hit save. Wine is done. And I'm like tempted to take a break on this, but I think I'm just gonna power through and do the poster because I want to get this tutorial out. This one's kind of an epic one. Okay, so here's what the poster looks like. And I'm going to kind of show you what I did to create it, kind of go over the highlights, and then we'll do most of it anyway. The main thing that I needed was, okay, I popped it on here. I knew I wanted a brown background. I liked this kind of, because it's not like we're getting really a perspective, but I just kind of like this abstract sort of layout with the breads. I think it looked nice. Oh, and the 2 wine glasses was great. So that's fine. And what else? Yeah, and so then of course I knew, like, as you see here, if you just put like, even if I put this in white, this text, it would look weird because everything is so hand drawn. So it's like you really need your text to be kind of hand drawn in this sort of situation for it to look as it's one. If it's just, I don't know, like in some circumstances, maybe you wouldn't need that. But with this, when it's all incorporated like in one, it just needs that hand touch. Otherwise, it looks really jarring to have this smooth vector-like text next to it that doesn't look painted or something. And so what I did to really get this is I used some multicolor brushes on the background. So that was fine, really easy. The breads needed a little bit of shadow. So I added this shadow as like a 1 color brush. And yeah, multicolored brushes on the background. That was it. I just took my brushwork brushes and what do you call it? Um, Stenciled over the text using the text as my guide. Why not? And then what else did I do? I felt like it needed something like to hold it in. So I love this kind of texture brush from the brushwork collection. And it kind of reminds me of like if you put masking tape or something and just got that beautiful texture. And I really think that kind of held it in like compositionally and everything. And then just this little splash of red wine. Whenever, if you see my time lapse, you'll see that I really like struggled with that of like, because I was like, maybe I'll put some wine up here. And, but that looked more grungy. So anyway, and that was pretty much it. So I'm going to go into it here. So, okay, so now I don't need this anymore. Let us close her. Don't save. And what I'll do is I'll put this for reference over here. And yes, reference and what we're working on. So, love you. Okay, so let's go here. Where are we on our thing? All right, first thing that I did, let's take this back. Slow, shadows, okay. So I had this brown background. All right, let's go here. Brown background. Oh, here I can just do it. So this is, let me just put her back together here. I forgot I have all this. Okay. Is this something? No. Okay. All right. So here we go. I just wanted to add all over kind of texture. So this is Artistic Autumn brush number 13, pattern stamp tool. Let's see here. Artistic Autumn brush 13. And let me see before I cut everything. So I think, yeah, I think I just used one of these. I sampled some from sampled some like kind of that kind of brown paper like you get in, I don't know, art class or, yeah, this was pretty it. So that was kind of the idea of like this. Let me deselect. So I just kind of went in like this. Of course, you don't see a lot of like, okay, if I use a brush like this, you could see the color shifts more. Um, let's do a little zoom here. We can see this brush just a little bit better in action. So this is just a great brush, but we're putting it like, it's pretty monocolor, but we're just going to kind of drop in for a little bit of like texture because on a solid background, this really hand drawn look looks really weird. So we need our background to match our foreground. So kind of went like this. Okay. So but the only thing that I didn't like about this is that there's such a warmth in the baguettes. And I was like, okay, well, rather than going to find another sample or whatever, this is an easy thing that I do when I have something like this that I want to change the tone. So what I did was I put a color fill layer over it with just a little bit of orange, and I put the blend mode to saturation and 20%. And so now it just adds a little bit of warmth that I needed for this without a lot of complication or resampling or anything like this. So I was happy with that. The next thing that I did was added a little bit of brush strokes from Artistic Autumn 13, but I guess in a different color palette. So let me save this. Yay. Okay. All right. So I think I grabbed like something like that. Yeah. Okay. So it was this one here. AA13. So you can see kind of what I did. So I just, yeah, just kind of, it was just kind of like layering. I was just kind of playing around and kind of filling it in. I don't know. Oh, maybe I put a little bit bigger. Let's just see, wait, before I cut it. Yeah, I kind of covered in a lot of it. Kind of left the edges a bit. Let's just turn that one off, make a new layer, deselect so I don't have to. I think I just take my brush size up a little bit, and so it's not like full, and then using kind of a light pressure, but kind of, yeah, just kind of had some fun with this. So we're adding some Yeah, that it's kind of like this. Yeah, kind of just having like the edges be a bit lighter. So that was kind of the idea. So I think that looks kind of good. But anyway, it'll look better once we kind of, and then you can also like add some nice strokes in there by, if you're doing it light, it's keeping it, you're not seeing that brush stroke, but if I do a really strong brush stroke like this, then we'll kind of get some big strokes in there and kind of spice it up a little bit. I don't like that white there. If you ever have like kind of a weird color coming out, then just go over it, you know? Because some of these color blends, there'll be like little bits of like different colors, which makes it nice, but sometimes you'll get like a big splash of white randomly and you're like, ugly. Okay, saving this one too. This is also 13, 2. Okay, this is going to be fun. All right, save this heifer. Now I added some light areas. So this was also the same brush, but we just changed the color palette a bit. And a little less saturated. And that's too light. I feel like Goldilocks. There we go. Okay, that's the color. That's the bread that I used. Hi. Okay. So let's just turn those down. So just added some different kind of spots of color. Maybe that's a little bit dark. No. Yeah. Okay. Just kind of spicing it up a little bit. All right, let's hit save. Good enough. I'm gonna have two versions of this anyway. And then here is where I was like, okay, I need something behind these breads to make them pop. So this is brushwork brush number 12. And let me see if I saved it. Yes, I saved it. It's the Shadow Amaze. So this is a nice, it's got a real soft, real like airbrushy sort of feel, but there is texture in there. Like if we zoom in, I'm doing everything quite zoomed out, but what am I doing here? There is like a lot of nice, lovely texture in that brush. Okay. So we just kind of, yeah. Did I put the, oh, I did put the blend mode to multiply at 77 opacity. So yeah, I think that I liked that. The multiply, sometimes I like using multiply, like, you know, obviously for the shadows. Well, that's quite common to use multiply for the shadows, but also because it will keep some of the warmth, like say you're, rather than just putting in black shadow, you know, so it will keep that warmth of the, um, you know, of whatever you're working on, or keep the colors. So yeah, I just kind of had fun with that. Put a little bit of shadow going on there. That was fine. We're gonna call that good enough. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, save. Yes, we need to be saving. I already saved the 12, so let's, oh, I can't move these, can I? I don't think I can move the, no, okay. I was gonna try to order them now, save myself some time. And then here we've got a little splash of wine, which I just used the same, oh, loose watercolor 7. Yeah. So there we go, just something like that, just for a little whatever. And let's see here, that was that. That was that. I did add a little bit of shadows from behind those glasses. I think that really added something nice for it. So this is the shadows, wine shadows, brush 15. I did leave the brush mode on normal. Let's make a new layer. Let's go see if I saved them. Oh, maybe I did. Dry 15, dry 16, dry 15. I kind of make something like this, a little bit behind. Okay, I'm saving this as wine shadows, shadows 15, I think, yeah. All right? Good. All right. And then I traced the lettering. Now I'm not going to trace all of the lettering for y'all here because that is a bit boring. Where is she here? Okay, so the first one I only used one brush, which was I think, let's make a new layer here. Oh no, it would be up here. Hello. Letters. So for the top, I use this brush 22 and I simply traced over the letters. So this is brushwork, dry brush 22. I'm going to go like, oh my God, what am I doing? Oh, that was an embroidery brush. So this was just a nice brush. Even if you're using light pressure, it can skip a little, but I just, made like so, took my time, and this is how it came out. Bam, looking good. Okay. And the bottom, let's turn that back on. The bottom I did two parts. So I did, where is she? This part, okay, which one should I move? There we go. This part I did the serifs, anything that was like a big straight line, I used another brush, but I did all of these with the same brush and just filled them in. Took my sweet time. And then I used brush 16 for the other parts. Nothing that's going like curvy like this, only straights. So that gives it that kind of consistency. And whenever you're like looking back, then it looks like kind of cool. So 16, this is dry brush 16. 16, that's it. Okay, so this was dry brush 16 and I just made like this, and even I would like draw it like that. And whenever I would just cut it off, like so and so. So let me just undo these. And that's it. So just tracing. I'm like, there is no shame in that. I am just using all the tools at my disposal because I don't need to be like coming up with letters by myself. The idea is to make it handmade and stuff looking, but I'm not trying to be a font designer. So I happily trace over those. This is not a type project. So anyway, and like I said, in this day and age of everything AI, my goodness, this is really doing it by hand, but I do it because I enjoy it. So I enjoy this process. I like making these decisions. I like figuring this out. For me, it's a pleasure. And the last one, did I save it? 22 Chateau Loose Watercolor Brushwork 6. I'm thinking of what brush that I used there, but let me just refer to my chart because I will see it. And I keep my brush charts here, so if I ever need something, they're nearby. Blah, 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 blah. Where is brushy work? Oh, that's right. No, that's Artistic Autumn. Nope. There we go. It had a real specific texture in it that I really liked. 15, that's it. I believe, yes. That is a really cool texture. 15. So I'm going to sample this color. Yeah, it's kind of a beige. Let's make a new one. Brush. Brush work. 15. There we go. So let's scooch this to the side. And you see that gorgeous texture? I just love it. So you kind of have to like, and I like kind of having it fade and not be 100% all the way across, just kind of playing around with that. Let's zoom out. And not like that. Oh, I like that. I like having it, yeah, and I put it behind my letters. But yeah, anyway, more or less, that is it. Let's hit save. And so that is it, y'all. Excuse me, I'm digesting. Um, anyway, so that is a long one. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. It's something different, kind of pushing ourselves a little bit, doing something a little more representative, not totally abstract. And what else? If you're a Behance subscriber, I've already put the source files into the instant access folder, but I will update that by the time that you see this with the brushes as well, and the color palettes and everything. So you could practice this yourself or have some fun, kind of DIY. And if you have any questions, just let me know down below in the comments. And hopefully I'll get back to live streaming again. Oh my goodness. Excuse me, very shortly. I'm missing the live streaming because I like doing it, I like doing it live. It makes it more fun for me. So I will see you guys on the next tutorial. Thanks for tuning in.